Well, good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing on this evening? Thank you so much for joining us on tonight. Welcome to MsG's Ladies Lounge. I'm your host, Gwen, better known as Miss G. We are so excited to have you with us on tonight. And so I'm going to ask everybody who has joined us if you would just take a moment and just share. Let everybody know that we are online and we're here. We're here to just chat with you guys for just a little bit. So make sure that you share. All right. So we have a great show lined up for you today. And I'm going to get started as we always do. We always start with a word of prayer. And then I will introduce to you my guest for today. So let's just begin with a quick word of prayer. Father, I thank you today for this day. I thank you for all that you've done. I thank you for all that you're about to do. I thank you for giving us life. I thank you for giving us health. I thank you for giving us strength. And I pray that today that something that we say will inspire someone, will help someone, will encourage someone, and that each and every one of my guests will be abundantly blessed. In Jesus' name I pray, and I thank you, God, now. Amen. So listen, again, I hope that you have shared this stream and that you're letting everybody know that MsG's Ladies Lounge is live on tonight. I've got some wonderful guests that's going to join me in the studio on tonight. And we are here tonight. We're talking with frontliners who have dedicated their lives to serving others and to being available to those that are in need, even in the midst of this time that is so trying for so many people. We're in a time of pandemic. We're in a time of, uncertainty, if for not for a better word. And so a lot of people have decided that they want to stay closed in. They don't want to interact with other people, and they don't want to have take a risk, if you would. But there are some people who are always the frontliners, and they go out day by day and they do what needs to be done to make sure that others are remaining healthy or remaining whole or being cared for in their time of need. And so today I'm so excited that we're still in our family matters, our family business month. We're still discussing the family business. And I have a family full of nurses, full of them. But I've gotten three of them that I was able to convince to come and join me on today. So we are going to chat with those three ladies. And I want you to just sit back and just take a moment and relax. And remember that this is our relaxation station. We're here for you on today. We want you to remember that that you are our guest and we invite you in to be a part of us on tonight. So I want to tell you a little bit about each and every one of my guests, and I'm going to bring them on as I introduce them. I'm going to bring them on one by one. And so I want you to just take a moment and just listen while I just tell you a few things about them. I'm going to start with Janice Young Harmon. Janice is an RN BSN. She is currently working on hematology oncology research as a hematology oncology research nurse, specializing in leukemias at Northwell Health. She was originally started as a medical assistant. She went from medical assistant to LPN and then to an RN AAS with an associate's. And here she is now as an RN BSN. She is also certified in biotherapeutics. And she has recently been accepted to the master's program. She has a total of 22 years experience in the health field. If you could just take a moment and put your hands together for my cousin, Janice Young Harmon. All right, let's welcome Janice on tonight.
Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
girl, how you doing?
Good.
Good. I'm so excited to see you here with us and so excited to have you. Um, Listen, I was reading your bio, and I'm telling you, it got exciting to me all over again. Just hearing the things that you've accomplished in just 22 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations on everything.
So,
And your most recent, I think you most recently got the RN. How
yeah,
long has it been since you've been an RN?
3 years.
3 years, and then you just recently got the BSN. Is that
I,
correct?
yep, I did that in 9 months.
Awesome, awesome. And so we're so glad to have you with us on today. Looking forward to hearing some of the things that you're here to talk about with us. You've got some fans out there saying, hey, so we're so glad to have you with us. Um, and we're going to bring on our other friends, but I had one question that I wanted to ask you, which I've asked everybody pretty much, I wanted to ask everybody this question, but as it relates to what you are actually doing.
Mhm.
So let me pull up your question because I want to make sure I asked you the correct question. And with your experience that you have, you've been working in now you're working as a research nurse. Just tell
Yeah.
us exactly what that is.
Um, this is a hard way to, we'll try to do it as easy as I can. When patients have certain diseases, anything actually, it can be neurological, it can be cardiologic, whatever. There are ways to get medications that are out there, but they're not like kind of like Tylenol or ibuprofen. The way those things got on the market, it was how through research. So testing medications is not one thing that they explain a lot. Do I have to explain to our patients a lot? Is that it's not experimental. Depending on which phase it is. I happen to work with phase 3, which is the medication has already been decided for the particular disease,
Hmm.
but now they want to see how it works at this line of the disease. Sometimes it would be from coming from if it was used as a first line defense instead of as a last choice. So they're trying to
Hmm.
determine, like phase 1. Phase 1, they try to determine the dosage. Phase 2, they're determining how many times a day it should be taken. But this is how we get
Okay.
medications to help cure diseases, is through research.
Awesome. I worked in a cancer unit, cancer office one time, oncology, and there was a research nurse in there, and she was telling me it was such a great place to be, and it's so interesting seeing the different things that they do to try to find those cures and how much it helps people. So it's great to know that there's someone out there that's working in that field. Everyone always thinks that, oh, a nurse is always going to be one thing. You're always going to be in the bedroom, doing that. So there's so many different phases, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad that each of you that are here today are in different phases of nursing. So we're going to talk about that just a little bit. But let me ask you this quick question, just a little brain teaser for you. Which type of patient is your favorite?
Okay.
The one who the one who sleeps all shift,
No.
the one who wants to get some exercise and get up to the chair,
Yes.
or the one who recently read it on the internet?
Definitely not that one.
I tell you, everybody gets those. And when I used to work in the doctor's office, oh man, we used to have people that would come and they heard it on the internet, and
You know.
oh, that's just a whole conversation. So listen, let's bring in one of the next ladies so that we can chat a little bit more about this. So I'm gonna bring in next. I'm gonna bring in Christina, who is she is, and let me say, Janice is my cousin on my mom's side. So I've got the family on both sides here today, and it's interesting. So we're kind of blending in. We're a blended family. My family believes in just being a one big happy family. family. So if they're related to you, they're related to me. If they're related to me, they're related to you. That's how we
Yeah.
roll. So Christina has always had a desire. This is Christina Medley. She's an RN, and she's always had a desire to be in the healthcare field since her freshman year of high school. And although her journey preserved its challenges, she never lost sight of her goal. She started her career as a certified nursing assistant, and then she advanced to an LPN. And the next month, after becoming an LPN, she began taking her prerequisite classes for an RN program at Albany Memorial School of Nursing. As of today, Christina has been in the nursing field for 15 years and has been an RN for 8 years. She has an extensive background in cardiovascular, interventional radiology, vascular surgery, and long-term care. She recently completed her BSN with Chamberlain University in March 2020. Christina currently works at Wellstar Hospital, a level 1 trauma center in Atlanta, Georgia, as a PACU nurse for the last 5 years. She resides in Georgia with her 2 children, Jaden and Brielle, and she strives to continue to advance her career in the healthcare field. Oh, won't you just put your hands together and help me with next guest, Christina. Oh, hold on, my computer's doing something crazy. Help me welcome Christina. Woo! Hey, Christina. Welcome, welcome,
Hello.
welcome. Hey, I'm so happy to have you with me on today. And so, as I said, Christina is related to me on my father's side. We were laughing and we were trying to find out: are you the first cousin, second cousin, third cousin, first removed, one time removed, all of that. I've never figured that out yet, but one day we'll figure it all out. Whether you're once
One day.
removed, 2 times removed. But anyway, she is one of my cousins, and I'm so happy to have her joining us today. Tell us how you're doing today.
I'm doing good. How are you, ladies?
I'm doing well. So we are so excited. You got a little fan club going too. So we're so excited to have you with us on today. And so you also are an RN. And what I love the most about your bio was how you didn't take too much time deciding what it is that you wanted to do. So that's a wonderful thing. You were able to come into the field knowing what it was that you wanted to do, and you went right for it. And so I applaud you on that. And I want to say, congratulations on every accomplishment that you made on becoming on your BSN in March. That's a wonderful thing. So we applaud you, even just in time for the pandemic. Just
Right.
in time. Yeah.
Just in time.
Just in time.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Janice. Which one of the 3 type of patients is your favorite? The one who sleeps all shift, the one who wants to get some exercise and get up to the chair, or the one who recently read it on the internet?
Definitely to get up to the chair.
Get up to the chairs, do some exercise. Yeah,
That's
they can
right.
be pretty. Yeah, they can be pretty funny. That sometimes having the one who wants to stay on the bell all shift, every 5 minutes they're finding something they need. And when I was in the hospital, in June, and the ladies kept coming in and like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna ring that bell every 5 minutes because I know exactly how it is. I know exactly how it is. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that to them." So Chrissy, let me ask you about your position in the PACU. Tell us a little bit about what you actually do where you're working now.
Okay, so usually the patients that go in for a surgery, I will be the nurse that will take care of them after surgery. So to make sure that they, their ASA scores are back to normal, how they came into the before they came in to have their procedure, make sure they're okay respiratory wise, pain is controlled, make sure that they're able to ambulate and everything before they leave the surgery center. Sometimes
Okay.
they to the floor and be admitted, or other times they just get discharged and go home.
Okay. So you're pretty much working like the recovery side. Okay. Yeah. Um, so we're definitely in need of you because a lot of people they go in surgery, they have surgery, and then a lot of things can go wrong after the surgery. So
Right.
we understand that your position is one that's very, I mean, just watching for the signs and symptoms of things that could go wrong after the surgery is a very, very critical moment. I remember, and I have a lot of stories, you know that I'm old, so I have a lot of stories. But I remember the first time I had a surgical procedure or whatever. And when I came out of surgery, I was so cold. I could not get warm. And they literally, by the time they took me up to a room, I think I had 12 blankets on me.
Wow.
And someone later told me that that was, first of all, it was fear. And second of all, it was like something was actually happening to me. And if I had not kind of come out of that, it could have gone a bad way. So I was like, oh, you know, so many different things that, like I said, could go wrong. So we have you on tonight, and I'm so glad that you have joined us. But we're going to bring on our next young lady, and she is, I think she's the youngest of us. Well, I don't know. You might be younger
Not
than
by
her.
much. Not by
Yeah,
much.
not by much. No, I think Chrissy is the youngest. I think
Yeah,
Chrissy
this
is
is
the
the
youngest.
youngest.
All right. So next we have Jennifer Connor. And Jennifer is also another cousin on my mom's side. And she is an LPN. She's been an LPN since 2001. She has worked in long-term care. She's worked in assisted living facilities. She was wound care certified from 2008 to 2013. And she's currently working in home health where she's been for 3.5 years. And Jennifer is a very passionate nurse. She's one of those people you have to make her go home because she likes to stay and make sure everything gets all the way done. So let's put our hands together and welcome Jennifer. Jennifer, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Everybody, how y'all doing?
Hey, hey, hey. This is a monumental moment. I'm going to tell my family, y'all screenshot this right here because we've got her on the big screen today. So we're so excited to have you with us on tonight, Jenny. And I want to ask you a question to start you off and help you get a little comfortable with
Yes,
answering
I
my
am
question.
younger than Janice. That's the question. Oh, sorry.
You
10
might be
months.
younger than Janice, but I don't think you're
10 months.
younger than Chrissy.
Hi, Chrissy. How you
Uh,
doing?
and so my question for you, Jennifer, is yours is a little bit different because you do home care, which I also do home care, so I know exactly how that goes. So my question for you is, which is your favorite type of patient? The one who has to go to the bathroom as soon as you arrive to the home, or the one who asks if you can do just one more favor before you leave, or the one who recently read on the internet?
Well, to be honest, I get those three on a daily basis, so I can't say which one I would prefer because I'm there to because we're there to educate. So if they read it on the internet, That's my job to educate and say, hey, no, that's wrong, or hey, this is the right
Right.
way. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. And before I leave,
Right.
if you need me to do anything before I leave, what can I help
Yeah.
you with just to make sure that they're in a safe way before I
Right.
walk through the door? So the three of those
Yeah.
really don't. It is what it is for me on a daily basis.
It can turn into some things though. Today I did some cases today because so let me tell you all about myself because I haven't told you guys about myself. So I am also a nurse. I have 30 years of experience. This year makes 30. As I said, I'm old. And I have worked in from one arena to the other, so we're not even going to go into each and every one. I have worked in hospitals, I've worked in nursing homes, I've worked in home health, I've worked in group homes, I worked in everywhere. But I currently am a home care supervisor in the. Um, I'm currently a home care supervisor with the elderly population, and and it's I'm on the other side now, so I'm on the administrative and management side, so it's a little bit different for me. And in 30 years of nursing, I had never really done management, although I did some administrative as a nurse educator and different things. But being on this side is quite interesting, but it can be very fulfilling, and it could be very um, tedious and have a lot of stress to it sometimes. But each and every day that we actually, I know everybody here on this panel can say this, no matter how stressful our jobs are, each and every day that we find that our patients are well taken care of and things are resolved for them or whatever is the most rewarding moment for us in whatever we do. So I was going to say today, I'm sorry, my thing just keeps falling over here. I was going to say today I went and I did a home care case, and um, I was really just there to help the lady get her meal and, make sure she was okay, make sure she took her meds. And then she asked me, well, I've got that pile of clothes over there, and I'd like to go through the things one by one and see what's too big. And I was, my mind was saying to me, I got to get out of here. But I took the time to sit there and go through every little piece with her. And, I felt good after I left there because it's the little things that they really appreciate. And when I came in, she was very agitated, which is not her personality at all. But when I left, she was very, very happy. And so it's little things like that even nurses will do just to make sure our nursing assistants that we will do just to make sure that our patients and our clients are happy. So I have a few more questions for you guys, and I want to really actually have some interactive conversation with all of us. So, but let me ask each of you, what or who inspired you to get into the field of nursing?
I
Anybody
would
can
have to
answer.
say, I would say mothers, because every day of our life, watching them come home from work and sit on that porch with their uniforms on, and I just think it was just ingrained in us, literally,
Mhm.
in our DNA, from the caring part, even down, to how we are with people. It was just ingrained in us. That was just was going to be.
Right. And so the funny thing is, our parents were all Jennifer, myself, and Janice. All of our mothers were nurses. My mom, she retired from the New York City Transit, and then she went to nursing school. She wanted to be like her sisters, I guess. So we had four aunts, which were four sisters that were nurses. Um, one aunt that was a nursing assistant, and one aunt by marriage that was also a nursing assistant. And then we had, I don't know how many cousins we have that are nurses, but it's quite a few of us. But
Mm-hmm.
Janice, all three of you sisters
Yeah,
are nurses.
yeah, all three of us.
Jenny, you and your sister are both nurses. This list goes on. So, Chrissy, who inspired you to get into nursing,
I would have to say my
or what?
grandmothers. Both my grandmothers always talked to me about, being a nurse. Grandmother on my dad's side, she worked in Central Supply. She always, instill it in my head. You should be a nurse. I think you'll do good if you be a nurse. And same with my grandma on my mother's side. She was an OR technician. So
Oh,
I just watching them. Those were kind of like my role models. And then of course, when my uncle became a doctor, kind of wanted to, still stay in that healthcare field.
right. That's awesome. Yeah, we got to get your uncle on here. I'm trying. I'm trying. Maybe we'll get him one day. So, Jennifer,
It's
what about?
tough.
It's tough, right? What about you, Jennifer?
He's always busy.
Yeah, I know, but we're gonna get him. We're gonna slow him down for a minute. What about you,
For me, it was
Jennifer?
my mother. My mother was an advocate for nursing school. Go
Yes,
to
she.
nursing school. Go to nursing school. You'll be able to take care of your family. You'll be able to find a
Yeah,
job anywhere. Go to
yeah,
nursing school. Go to nurse school. So that was kind of like hammered in, and you try to do different things, but that was always there. My mom worked hard. All of our mothers worked hard.
yeah,
They went out in blizzards and stuff. We're in a
Mhm.
pandemic, but they were doing stuff back then. They
Right,
would walk to Lawrence nursing home. So those things
yeah,
kind of,
right.
you know, their work
Yeah.
ethic made us want to be more like
Mhm.
them than, So it was my mom. She just,
She's the one
I,
that pushed me to be a nurse
yeah,
also. And
because
I
it was
did not
hard.
want to be a nurse. I
Me
never wanted to
neither.
be a nurse. And I was like, no. But I was sick of, where I was, although I was working for the government and making good money, but it was just too much back and forth. And so she kept telling me the same thing. You'll always
Go to
have
nursing
a job. You
school.
can
Go
go
to nurse. You'll
wherever
be
you
able to find
want.
a job anywhere. Yes,
Hmm.
that was her
Yep.
thing. Go to nursing school. Go to
Right.
nursing school. So that's what we did. I mean, my first day of nursing class, they go around the room. Why did you want to become a nurse? And everybody's like, because I always wanted to help people. And I was like, because my mother said, I
My
was
mother
always,
said.
my mama said, I need to take care of my
Right.
kids. So, yeah, but then you do it so long, it's just a
yeah.
part of life. And I can't see myself doing anything else.
Anything
Mm.
else? No.
I'm not gonna
Mm-mm.
say that now.
I mean,
30
you're not too
years. I
very
can
far
see
from it.
myself doing. Say that again.
I mean, if you look at our family as a whole, none of us,
Mhm.
pretty much every last one of us, are in the nursing field or the healthcare field some kind of way.
Right.
Right.
Some kind of way. We are
Mhm.
there,
Mhm.
like staples.
Yeah. Well, when I say I don't see, I can see myself doing other things. It wouldn't be like going now at this point in juncture in my life and starting a whole new career. But
Mm.
I can see myself retired.
Oh, yeah.
I can see
Like
myself
today.
retired. I
Yeah.
can't wait. It's like taking way too long. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna make it 5 years. I might have to do the 2 year thing, and 2 years ago. So let me ask you a question, Jan. So you're currently working in the hospital environment, and your field is research. What is your greatest pleasure working in that area?
Um, Actually, I work in both areas. Because of the type of patients that I take care of. Most of
Mhm.
them learn that they have AML or ALL or CLL, whichever one of the leukemias. They don't find out until they're in the emergency room.
Mhm.
So I start off in the hospital with them, and then they work their way eventually into the outpatient setting. So I could be at the hospital today, and I can be at the outpatient setting tomorrow. But the one thing that I love most about is just honestly is that it is such a vulnerable time for people,
Mhm.
and a time where their entire life just shifts in a matter of. I had a patient who's 21 years old, and his leg was hurting because he thought he went to a spin class and he hurt his leg. And when he
Wow.
got to the emergency room, it was his white counts were tanked completely. So when I say the drop of a hat, it just done. So the just to be there to help give some kind of a guidance, because a lot of times it's hard for people to hear when they're not feeling well. It's hard for people to hear when they're scared. It's hard for people to hear when it's so much going on around them. I like being those ears for them. I like being able to take what the doctor said and bring it to a level where they can understand it so much better, so they can take some of the fear and the unknown away from them, you know?
Yeah. So when you are, so you say you work in both areas. So you're doing patient care side as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And actually, when
So
I go to the hospital, I'm just with those patients. So only the floor just deals with AML for now, unless I get redeployed again. But for now, it's just those patients that have leukemia.
okay. All right. So you say you have sometimes, you have a patient now that's 21. What is your general population like?
Um, because I deal with the adult population, I think he's 21 now. When he came to me, he was 20. But my patients range from 20 to 75, 18 to 75, depending on the study that they're going to be on.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. So, let me ask you one more question. So, you went from the medical assistant, so you've been in the doctor's office, that side. You went from the medical assistant to the LPN. And where did you work as an LPN? Were you in the hospital setting or?
No, I was actually an outpatient urgent care nurse. And I
Okay.
worked as outpatient. When you come to urgent care and something's wrong, that was me.
Okay. I've done that too. That was probably one of the more exciting, actually hands-on
It is. It is.
medical area that I worked in, because you never know what you're gonna see.
Never know.
Never know.
I used to say every day you cannot make this stuff up.
Right. So now you're an RN. So which one would you say is your most impassioned or rewarding area that you've worked in or work in?
Honestly, it would have to be when I was an LPN working in urgent care, because I was in an impoverished neighborhood. And I came from working in an affluent neighborhood. I went from working in Great Neck for 12, 15 years. And then I moved to Brooklyn while I was going to school to work, because I needed the extra hours, so I can go to school at the same time. And working in a neighborhood where our people are that really don't have the information or really don't understand, or working in that neighborhood and helping them navigate, because so many things have happened to our people that they just sometimes are really just afraid of doctors and what can happen because of a lack of
Right.
knowledge. So I think that was my best place to work at that time.
Oh, okay. So what about you, Chrissy? I want to talk to you about that quick move that you made. That is so amazing to me that you were a CNA. Did I have that right? Yeah, you were a CNA, and then you went and became an LPN, and then 1 month later, you already decided and you signed up for your for school to go for an RN. So how did you like that transition? I mean, what pushed you to go so quickly from one to the other? And which do you find to be the most rewarding area for you? And other than
So,
monetary, because we
I
know the
always knew
monetary.
that I wanted. I always knew that I wanted to be a registered nurse. When I was going to school for my LPN, I, said to myself, like, if I can start with my summer courses, and get some prerequisites done, then I can possibly start the fall semester for the LPN to RN bridge program.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a aunt that always told me, you have to be a CNA first. You have to kind of like know what's going on. You don't get in the medical field, have any kind of knowledge. So that's kind of how I went CNA to LPN and to RN. And I knew that as an LPN, I could make good money while I go to school. And I had my
Right.
son at the time. So I was just trying to figure out how I can make real good money and go to school and not have to kill myself with work too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's interesting
And
that you said
then,
that. Go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, and then I kind of like the RN position. That kind of gave me the most pleasure
Mm-hmm.
because I was able to move around in so many different departments.
Okay.
I enjoyed being an LPN, but as an RN, I was able to, go into the cardiovascular, go into the cath lab and learn
Mm-hmm.
that kind of department and learn more about the heart and radiology. So many of these different fields, I wouldn't have been able to go into these different departments when I was LPN.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's sometimes true. I think it depends on when the opportunities present itself and where you are.
Yeah.
Because I've been blessed to work in so many different areas. In the VA hospital, I was able to work in cardiology and different things. So it's not that you can't as an LPN, but the choices are limited. The opportunities are
Right,
more limited. I wanted to always go
right.
into labor and delivery, and those nurses that were in there that were LPNs, they were not going anywhere. They were going to stay there
They're
until they
not
died.
going nowhere.
So they wasn't trying to give those jobs up. So,
Mm-mm.
but it's interesting that you said that your aunt told you to go from the CNA and all of that. So today, when I worked with the CNA, she said something to me, and I said to her, "Well, I've never been a CNA." She said, "You haven't?" She said, "I'm so surprised." She said, "Because you don't mind getting in there and doing hands on." She said, and you're our supervisor, but you come in and you go on and you do patient care. And she was really surprised that I had never been a CNA, because she said most of the nurses that she knew that would help were CNAs prior, and so they had that passion. But I don't think any of us. You haven't been a CNA either, Jenny, right?
Say what?
Me neither.
You had never been a CNA either, right?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you were a CNA?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't remember that. Did you say that in your bio? You probably did.
I
No,
did
you
not.
didn't. You didn't.
Bottom
So
of my
yeah, I never was a CNA, but I always advocated for the CNAs, because they are really the real frontliners. I mean, in the nursing homes and those areas like that. Now the hospital is different, but in those areas like that, they are the frontliners, and we tell them all the time, we don't know what's going on in the homes unless you tell us.
Right.
So we need you, and we need you to be as confident with what you're doing. And being an LPN is great, being a CNA, but I tell everybody, go straight for your RN. If you're a CNA, go straight for your RN. Don't stop at LPN. And it's not that when I first became a nurse, you couldn't do a lot of things as an LPN. So you couldn't do certain things with
Right.
oils, you couldn't draw blood, you couldn't do all of those things. But they've gotten to the place where you can do all of that, but you're only going to get paid as an LPN.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Yeah.
can go back to school, get your RN, get paid for what you're doing. Um, you know, and but I just personally decided, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna stay right here because I'm ready to retire. Did I say that? Did I say I'm ready to
Just
retire?
once or twice. Just once or twice.
But my mom went to nursing school at 59. I believe she was 59 when she
Yeah.
went to nursing school. So it's not too late. It's just not my passion as an RN. not my passion. So Jennifer, let me ask you, what role in nursing has given you the most pleasure so far, and why?
The role that most nurses hate, which is wound care. That
Ooh.
is my passion. I love the way the body heals. It's amazing to watch the body break down and heal, because you look at stuff, you're like, ooh, yeah, no, he's gonna have that hole forever. And a lot of times I went in there praying, to be honest. A lot of times I went in praying, and it got to the point where I would eat, sleep, dream wounds. I wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, I can do this treatment right here, and go and get the treatment. And next thing you know, that person's wound is healing. So
Yeah.
that's my thing. I like the nasty stuff. I don't get to do too much of that right now. You know, it's like mostly post-op stuff. You know, you got a little staples
Sorry,
and
y'all.
cherry strips, and but not that, you know, every now and again you get a wound back, and but not that gritty stuff that you're like, ooh, yeah.
The maggots. Nobody wants to
No,
talk
I
about the
can't do that.
maggots.
I can't mess around with that. I've
No.
had some maggots go into some wounds, and I'm
That's
telling you,
See,
don't sleep
that's
on
why I
maggots.
can't stand wound care. I can't stand it. I'm
Nah,
telling you. But and
maggot therapy is awesome.
when I first came to where I am now, I was put in the clinic where I was told I was going to be doing all of this other stuff, and what I ended up doing was wound care. And I was like, the thing I hate the most, really. And I was ready to leave this job, but you know, God sometimes will he will allow you to just be still, and then he blessed me to move on into this management position. But the one guy that I had, the bottom of his foot came all the way open. And then one day I was doing his wound, and the little maggot jumped out, and I was like, I
Mm-mm.
mean, and my boss, she used to work with Jenny, and her name was similar.
Jenny.
So Jenny, but she and Jenny used to work together, and she actually loved Jenny. She told me when she found out Jenny was my cousin, she's like, I call her now for some tips
She,
because she is the
yeah,
best. And so
she
that was a
did.
wonderful testament to have my cousin. Yeah, my cousin, you know, she's so, but she loved wound care as well. She loves wound care as well. And she loved those little maggots jumping out. And when I told them, I said, call her, because I wasn't going to touch them.
Because they're not going to eat the good tissue. They're only going to eat that dead necrotic tissue. And then
Yeah,
what's left
but these
is
were not the
actually,
good. These were not the good maggots. So you have two different kinds. You
yeah,
have the
you got
good
the
ones
ones
and the
that,
bad
yeah.
ones.
But even
And
the
so,
bad ones will go in there and clean up some stuff
yeah,
and
they
make it
will. They
happen.
did clean it up. They did, and it actually, like you said. Now I will tell you, his was amazing to me because that hole did. I mean, I nurtured his foot so much, and they called it the miracle foot because it actually closed back up and it healed back up. And but then one day I was on vacation, and my boss sent me a picture, and I said, and it was the poor man's toe. The toe had done fell off.
Mhm.
So, but thank God I wasn't there that day.
Mhm.
So that's the gritty part of nursing. But we don't all experience that every day. But there are
No, we
some people
don't.
that love that. There's some people that
Yeah.
love that, and huh?
When you have that kind of skill, you got to be special. My mom did wound care. She
Yeah,
loved wound
your
care too.
mom was and
Yeah.
I was just talking about her with that because someone outside of mentioned that to me about the maggots, and I said, yeah, my aunt Lane, she used to know what to do with those things. She used to
Yeah.
get that natural stuff, and she would feed that wound, and she would take
Yeah.
care of it. But that's not my kind of nursing. I was like,
I did not inherit that. My stomach is too weak. I cry
and
all the
I've
way
done
to
it for years.
no
I've
way.
done it for years. For me, my most rewarding was pediatrics. I love, love, love. I started as a pediatric nurse, and that was my favorite type of nursing. And I worked at Kings County Hospital in the pediatric acute care, and it was such it was sad, but it was such a rewarding feeling to be able to work, because I had a lot of border babies where their parents just disappeared or something, and they actually lived in the hospital. And they, in at Kings County Hospital, they actually had a school on the top, in the on the roof. They actually had a school that the kids would go into up there. And I think a lot of people didn't know that, because I never knew about that until I started working there. And they called them border babies. So they would live there. They would go to school there. Everything that they needed was right there. And so we were their parents. We were taking care of them. And that was one of my most rewarding moments. That was where I started. So let's talk about today's nursing. So today, now we are at this pandemic, and we've gotten to the place now where a lot of nurses have actually decided to go and become hairdressers or anything other than a nurse because they don't want to deal with COVID.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing every day, not knowing what you're walking into. But I want to ask you ladies how you deal with coping with going to work every day, not knowing what you're going to go into and what it is that you're going to have to encounter for that day as it relates to possibility of COVID. So anybody can start off.
For me, it was a little different now because when COVID first came about, New York was hit kind of hard. And at that time, they didn't know a fraction of what they know now, which is still not a lot. But my job was trying to do, they were big on trying to figure out what was going on and how to do it. So they redeployed me from taking care of leukemia patients to working with COVID-19 patients, but I did it on a research side of it. So in the beginning, what they were trying to do was they were trying to find out if they were taking, I was on what's called the convalescent plasma trial, which was taking blood from patients who already had convalesced from having COVID-19, which means they had the disease. And usually when you catch a disease, like let's say if you have measles, once you get measles, you don't get it again because you build up the immunity. So they're thinking that the antibodies of the COVID-19 would have been inside these people. So once they recovered, they would take plasma from them and give it to the patients that were really, really sick and hope that there was antibodies. I did that trial for 8 weeks in the beginning of all of this. And when I tell you, it was a scary, scary experience because we didn't know the proper transmission. We didn't know anything, to be honest with you. So talking to the patients and having to go on the floor with the patients and we took every precaution that you could imagine. But even from leaving from the hospital to come home, I think that was more scary for me than just for me going into the hospital, because I was afraid, I have 4 kids, I have a grandchild, a husband.
Right. Yeah.
And, it was really scary coming home. So I would literally, before we closed up this backyard, I was stripping in the backyard in the cold, down to my bra and panties, and hand sanitizing from the top to the bottom. I never uncovered my hair. I always kept we wore head to toe gear. When I say head to toe gear, it was to the point by the 3rd day I started getting, and I'm not a person that's really anxious, but I started getting anxiety every time I had to put that stuff on the go, because you can't breathe, right. You can't, but we didn't know what else to do,
right.
or how else
right.
to. It was a scary, scary, scary time. Now, I'm not saying that I relaxed, because I think that's when people go wrong. When they relax the precautions that they've been taking. But it has definitely changed, and I say this, maybe not everybody might not agree, it's going to change everything forever.
Right.
Because
you just, don't know.
You don't know. And I don't think it's going to be a time anytime soon that we're going to be taking off these masks and being able to be in life the way that it was. any capsule. And if you really would see what was happening to those patients, I don't know if y'all got to work with any of those patients. Don't let the news fool you. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and stay distant.
So I didn't say you all are parents and grandparents of Janice and Jenny. And so you do come home, and Chrissy, you have 2 kids, so you do come home to those kids.
Yeah.
Like I come home, I'm alone, so it's a little bit different for me. But when you come home, just the mental thing of should I touch my kids? Should I not touch my kids? All of that kind of stuff. Not knowing. So, Chrissy, tell us, how you're coping with dealing with the pandemic. And you're in Atlanta, Georgia. Janice is in New York, and Jenny and I are both in Virginia. So, how are you dealing with it?
So I feel the same way how Janice said. Like when you get home to your kids, you're nervous, with them being around you. Am I going to pass something to them? Are they going to be sick? Initially, in the beginning, my hospital that I work at, they were unsure, just like every other hospital. They were unsure of what was going on. We didn't really have the proper PPE, so it was very frustrating for us nurses there because we were told not to have a mask on, walking around the hallway. They wouldn't give us masks. They locked them up. Like, so it was very stressful in the beginning for me. Any little symptom, I'm like, my throat is sore. I don't know. So it was frustrating. That was my frustration mainly because management or the hospital administration didn't feel like I was protected. And then we didn't have masks other than just a surgical mask. And we was working with patients coming out of the OR, coughing and, from different procedures that they had. And we're in close proximity with them. Like, there's no distance.
Right.
So that was the most frustrating part for me. Right now, it's gotten a little bit better, but there's still a lot of stuff that they still need to get together. And now that we have the proper PPE, I feel more comfortable.
That's good. So, Jenny, you actually go into the homes.
Yeah, Lord.
So how is that, how is dealing with that? Like you going into people's homes and now I know for us, some people actually would get upset with us because you're coming in with a mask on and this gown and all of this other stuff. So tell us how you deal with that at work as well as when you're going home.
Well, the first COVID patient that I went to go see all day long, it was like my chest had 25 people on it. I couldn't breathe all day because I was like, I'm gonna go see this man and it's gonna be all over me. And when I get home, all of us are dead. And it's not being dramatic because we didn't know what it was. We didn't know how we didn't know anything. And I had it all on. They gave me the little suit. And I knew when I looked at it that it wasn't going to fit. So my brain started working from that more. What am I going to put on? So I put on 2 gowns. I had the face shield and the goggles. And when I got in there, his demeanor is what made me calm down because he was a pastor. And he was in there like me and you, like we're all sitting here talking. And that's what made me, kind of calm down. I still get anxious because my fiance has an autoimmune disease. So I have to be concerned. My granddaughter's walking around here. And everybody that lives in this house, we are all frontline workers. We are all at high risk. You got the TSA, you got environmental services, you got a trainer, you have a camera works at Arby. So all of us have potential, coming into this every day. So it is unnerving. And what's disheartening is when you hear people say, oh, well, I'm not concerned about this. I don't have to wear no mask. And I heard a young lady say that the other day. Her 4 friends all had on masks walking into Wawa. She was the only one that didn't. And she was like, y'all concerned about this COVID. I'm not. And I looked at her and I was like, the messed up part about that is you may put my life at risk because I may have to come in your house and take care of you because you decided that you weren't concerned about what's going on. So you're not concerned about me. I'm concerned about you.
Wow.
I have my mask. I've got my hand sanitizer. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. Keep me and my family safe.
Mm-hmm.
But your ignorance, and that's what it is. It's just flat out ignorance.
Yeah.
You're just like, nah, forget you and everybody else. And we can't be like that at this time now. We can't. We are in dire straits right now. We don't know where we're gonna go. You don't know. You don't know from day to day who you're dealing with. And it's not just the people, it's these people out here who are asymptomatic that don't.
Yeah.
You know, and then we got young people in our homes, our teenagers, our young adults, and they just don't get it because they still want to be around their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they want to hang around. So the conversation is always, you have to be careful because you don't know who they're hanging around. I know what's going on in here.
Absolutely.
You don't know what's going on out there.
And that's exactly what I was saying about, we were talking about at work today with the children returning to school. You know, Chrissy, you have small children, I'm not sure, or you still have school-aged children.
You have a
Mhm. You have, I'm sorry.
Say that one more time.
I was saying I have a 6-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have my youngest, well, my daughter was in college and they sent her back home in like the beginning of March. And I have a 10-year-old. And the thought of, I was listening on 1010 Wins this morning for all us old folks out there. 1010 Wins saying,
Mother's favorite.
1010 Wins was saying that they're all, you know, everybody in the city, the parents decided that they want to do this hybrid program. And the hybrid program is that they go to school this week for 2 days, and you know, right. I'm saying, so what? You think if I get Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's the day that COVID won't go back to school?
Right. Exactly.
You know, you can't make a decision on saying, you know, all right, so Wednesdays and Thursdays is not going to be here. So you can't say that. So my thing is, I think that they should really honestly leave these children out of school until next September. Not this September, the following September. Because I think by that time, it'll be just probably like when the H1N1 was around, and that was SARS 1. That's why I keep calling it SARS 2. When that came around, it just disappeared in 2 years. But I think that the children should not return to school yet. I don't think it's a good idea. I think they keep saying they don't know anything. They don't know anything. That's why this minute they're saying it's this, and that minute is, oh no, children can't get it. And then you start seeing children getting it.
Right.
Oh, it's just the old people.
Yeah.
It's not the old people, because when I was in there in the beginning stages, it was 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. I had a mother who was pregnant, 6 months pregnant. No, she did not make it. No, the baby did not make it. So she was 30-something years old. Those are the things. Those are things that I just can't forget. And if they really tell the public, like you said, you see those young people that don't have on the masks and things like that, and those clowns that be protesting, that I be wanting to reach in the TV and just choke the life out of, Lord forgive me for saying it. But if you really know what happened and the process of that ugly disease, they wouldn't feel that way. I think they should take them to a COVID unit and let them walk through there one time without a mask and then see what happens. Because I don't think people, if they didn't tell the public what it really does and how it affects the body, and it's a horrible, horrible death. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
A horrible
kids, children, little kids are nasty. We all know
yes,
that.
Yes,
one of my friends said to me today
naturally.
that someone sent her something and it said, what happens when I send my child out with a Paw Patrol mask on and they come back home with Spider-Man mask?
That's right.
Because they're kids,
and that's just a natural thing children would do.
Yeah, they have no sense of fear, urgency, anything. So and they're going to do it. And nobody, if you have a classroom with 20 kids and 2 teachers or whatever, they can't look at all of them at the same time. So it's kind of a sad situation.
It is.
So within the nursing field, one of the things that I tell the aides, because the aides that work with us, they get, very anxious. Um, if they hear anything, last week we sent out a schedule to someone, and they labeled the assignment for that particular person was labeled, which we in the beginning we had specific types of visits, and some of the types of visits said COVID, whatever, COVID-19 visit, COVID-19 shower, but it wasn't because those people had COVID. It was because we were only doing this because of COVID, because they usually come into the center. But since they can't come into the center, now we have to take care of them at home. So it became a COVID visit. Well, the girl made a mistake and didn't take that label off of that visit last week. And they started spreading around. I don't want to go to that person. They have COVID. But what the thing I tell them is that you have to remember, first of all, I'm not sure, we got a lot of feedback somewhere. But I tell them you have to remember that you made a pledge. You took an oath to take care of people regardless of the situation. And I know, like I don't know if it's this thing here, I don't know. Like they tell you back in the day when they didn't know when I got my license, that was the first year that they introduced medications and different things for HIV and AIDS. So that was 1990. And they just started talking about the medications and stuff for AIDS, but we were all very afraid. We didn't know. Everybody was scared to touch the patients. They thought that if you touch them, you're automatically gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was just a lot of fear because of the unknown. And so today you can be working with people and you won't have any clue that they are HIV positive or that they have AIDS because they have progressed so much. But the point of the matter is, like I tell the aides all the time, you need to treat everyone as if they have a possibility that they could be positive. That means your mama, your daddy, everybody. You just don't know. Everybody has the possibility of being positive for COVID. So when we go in to treat people, we give full PPE where I work. And so, and then it was so crazy because we're giving the people full PPE and some of them were leaving it in their car and they're going into people's house without it on. Well, first of all, you're making the folks upset because you're coming in their house from outside. They don't know whose house you just came from. And then you're going in there. You don't know who's been over to visit them or, where they've been. And so, and I think that was one of the big problems that we had in the beginning, where it was going from place to place to place because people were not understanding the process of transmission, how easy transmission can take place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so now I think the world has kind of decided once again to become more aware of what they're doing and try to be more protective of themselves and each other. And I was so glad when I see that they, started really making the people in the stores put on masks and everything. Yeah. Of course, you always got your few people who don't want to do it and they still want to fight. And I'm looking at them like, I don't know if y'all saw that video, the man who's standing like this, like, don't come near me. Don't come near me. No. But so we are faced with this every day, every moment, whether you work in healthcare or not. However, those of us that are in healthcare, we have greater risk having to directly provide care to people who we have the known and the unknown. And I heard this today, actually. I can't remember what I was listening to, or yesterday, I think I was listening to some news thing and it was a doctor talking. And they were saying that you're actually better off dealing with someone that you know that has COVID,
That's true.
because you already know what's happening with that person. You
Right.
already know I got to have all of this on. But other people, you're taking it for granted.
Right. Don't relax.
Mm-hmm.
Don't relax.
So it's much easier to deal with somebody knowing that they have it, knowing what you need to do, how you need to protect yourself, than to be relaxed around this person, like you say, and you don't know what you're dealing with. And like I tell people, we're worried about COVID, but there's still other things that's happening. There's still TB. There's still, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
still need to be conscious of all of those things. So, I say to the audience, you need to make sure that you are doing whatever you need to do to protect yourself. So,
Right.
Janice, well, let me start with Jenny. So, Jenny, just give our audience, because we've been on here a good long time, so we're going to get off. But give our audience today just one last word on how you feel they can help the medical community to bring ourselves as well to a place of protection, as well as bringing themselves to a place of protection.
Wear your mask, social distancing. Don't walk around with the gloves on, because you
Please.
get comfortable. You see people with gloves on, and they're using the gloves just like their regular hands. They're all in their
Mhm.
pocketbooks. They're touching you've contaminated everything, thinking
Yes.
that you're protecting yourself. Hand sanitize. You really can safely only use hand sanitizer like 3 times. That fourth time, you need to wash your hands. You
Right.
can't use that all day because it builds up a film on your hands. And whoo, I have to plug my phone up all day. You start to sound like an alien. But we have to educate, and we have to remind our Black folks, our
Yes.
white friends, that this is
Yes.
not the time to be ignorant. This is the
Mhm.
time to educate yourself. If you don't want to go by what's on the news, you can read, educate yourself.
Mhm.
We have to keep each other safe.
Right, right. Thank you, Eartha. Eartha is an RN also. She said, that's right. Don't discriminate about patients' diseases. Protect yourself and your patients. Wear your PPE.
That's
Thank you,
right.
Eartha. She is an awesome RN as well. Thank you for your service to the world. Thank you. Thank you. So, Chrissy, tell us what you would like to just share with our audience as it relates to how to deal and how to work along with your healthcare providers.
Same thing. Just wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, wear the proper mask. Don't if you have a N95, wear your 95. Just to be on the safe side. Like you said, you never know who you're gonna come in contact with. After you take care of one patient, go wash your hands. You
Right.
Mhm,
do any kind of patient care, wash your hands. You outside, as soon as you get in the house, wash your hands. Just wash your hands.
mhm. That's awesome. And Jan, what would you like to
Mhm.
share with the audience?
Look, everything that my fellow nurses said, 110%. But to come on the other side, if I had to say for the audience to do something for them, pray for those nurses and doctors, because the things that they've seen is nothing that anybody who was outside of a war soldier should have had to see. Please pray for them, because I'm quite sure a lot of them are coming out of here with PTSD, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you haven't personally worked on it, on a unit like that, and you're talking to the patient 1 minute and you go back in because they can't stay in the room with them. So they go in the room to do what they can, and the patients are then given a cell phone or something like that to call to them on the outside. So if you're just to give you an idea of what the unit looks like, all the doors are shut, and everything that they need is on the outside of the door, including the patient's IV, so that they don't have to go back into the room. But if they
Wow.
do go back in there, the patient has to call them from the room or if I need this or need that. But when you have a patient that's taking and this is no joke, 15 liters of oxygen on a rebreather mask, and they still O2 saturation is like still 82 or 80, and they talk like this, and you can't, and you go back in, and that patient is dead. Nurses and doctors don't want to see that. There's nothing that they can do. If I had to say the one thing, do all the above and pray for your nurses and doctors. Pray that God will protect them and keep them safe, and that He will make sure that they don't drag none of that home, and that they keep their hearts and minds stayed on Him, so that He can keep them, because it's not an easy thing.
Right. Well, I thank you all so much. I mean, this has been a great conversation. So we have a question. Let's see what our question is. Do you think everyone should shower and wash clothes once home from a day out in the streets, work, school, or stores?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that we just don't know. We just don't know what we're dealing with. So you have to make sure that you are always on the defense, almost, on the defense of what could be, what you're not seeing, that you feel like, well, I might have seen those little things coming at me, but I didn't see them, but they're just out in the air. They're just everywhere. So we definitely have to always protect ourselves. But I also would like to say, always be, try to do things that you can do to be aware of what's going on. If you see, like I bought myself a little thermometer, it's $5 in Walmart. I bought myself a little thermometer. I take my temperature pretty much either every day or every few days. I take my temperature. I have all kinds of hand sanitizer here, sanitizing your house, cleaning your house. But also, if you have symptoms, try to control what you can at home. They tell you that, you should try to control what you can at home. Do the best, be educated, reach out to your doctor's office, be educated, but don't run to the doctor's office for every little thing. Because you don't know what you're going to come in contact with and who you're going to come in contact with. But try to take care of what you can at home. They tell you that there's a lot of natural things that you can do. And I'm not going to go into all of that because we're not diagnosing anybody and we're not treating anybody. But look into some of the natural things that you can do to build up your immune system and build up your body so that you can be kind of healthy, and so that anything cannot come and just attack you so easily. Because one of the main things that they say is that people who have low immune systems or a lot of diseases or anything, of course, they are at a much higher risk. So you want to build up your body and your temple as much as you possibly can. And of course, you know what answer I'm going to give y'all. Prayer always works. So y'all pray, because God is a prayer answering God. The God that I serve, He is a prayer answering God. So we pray, and it's not to say that we won't ever deal with anything, but just pray that God will just have His way in your life, and that He will keep you healthy and whole, because we believe that He has the power to do all of that. And Eartha has given another answer, and have a designated spot. One thing, have a designated spot for your shoes too, especially in healthcare. Yeah, we walk on a lot of stuff, so those shoes gotta come off when I walk in the door. Yeah. And I heard a lady saying that she actually ties up all of her clothes. She takes a change of clothes to work. She takes everything off, puts it in a bag. She ties up her shoes and leaves them at work wherever she can. Do what you can. Do what you can so that you can kind of. I think we lost Chrissy. but do what you can so that you can keep yourself as safe as possible. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Janice. I'm so proud of you, Jenny. I'm proud of Jenny. I'm proud of Jenny. I'm proud of you,
Jenny gets
Janice.
sleepy.
Huh?
So Jenny gets sleepy.
Oh, we all getting sleepy, but I'm proud of you that you came on and spoke. That's what I'm proud of. So I'm so happy to have you all with me today. Listen, thank you all so much. I'm going to take you guys out of the stream. And I just want to remind you, my family and my friends, I want to remind you that yesterday, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yesterday was a great day, and I had the ability to release my book for pre-order. So my book, Let the Vision Speak, has been released for pre-order, and I want to encourage you to go to my page and follow the link that I have there where you can order your book today. You can pre-order it and you can pay for it. And when it comes, when it's ready, we will just send it right to you. You won't have to do anything else. You will receive the book in the mail. I'm really excited about it. Let the Vision Speak. God has something for you to do. And whatever it is that he has placed on the inside of you, he wants you to share it with the world, just like we're sharing here. There's so many things even beyond your natural career that you're doing at work. God is giving you some things inside of you to release to the world. So I want to help you, and I'm helping myself. The book has helped me a whole lot. So just if you can, just go ahead and put that order form in, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So listen, it's been a wonderful evening. You all have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you again, Chrissy, for joining me on tonight. I appreciate you. I see you got lost there for a little bit, but I appreciate you. And we will see you all hopefully next week. I believe we're going to have some health and wellness, much more upbeat talk rather than COVID, but health and wellness on next week, which is going to be a little bit of fun. We're going to talk about some dietary stuff, and we're going to talk about some exercise, and just some fun things that I know I need. I don't know about you, but I know I need to talk about it. So I have a guest that I'm trying to get on the show on next week. So join me, and let's just continue to have a great day. Remember that the Lord loves you, and guess what? I do too. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful evening.